Good afternoon, fellow theme park and travel enthusiasts, and welcome to the Root of All Theme Parks podcast. My name is Matthew Schroeder, aka the Irish Mad Hatter, and joining me today is Disney and Universal travel agent Greg Schroeder with PS Family Vacations. There's no relations. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, doing great, Matt. Thanks for having me here.
Well, before we get started, would you mind sharing how you got into being a travel agent?
Sure, of course. Yeah, like many Disney adults, my passion for the Disney theme parks came from a lot of family vacations growing up. Geez, over 30 years now. No comment. Still to this day, I definitely remember a lot of Magic Kingdom Christmas mornings and things like that. And a few years later, I got the opportunity to become a Tomorrowland cast member, which kind of further cemented my love for the parks and what Disney has to offer all of their guests. My favorite attractions while working there was definitely Carousel of Progress. That one helped me appreciate Walt Disney and his contributions a lot more to the auto animatronics and 1964 World's Fair and all those things. And of course, Space Mountain was an exciting attraction to work at. All the celebrities that came in and out of there. But so that kind of led me to, as an adult, I've been fortunate enough to travel, not only spend a lot of time in Walt Disney World since I live here in Orlando, but also to travel to Disneyland and Disneyland Paris, experience Alani over in Hawaii, and also experience the Disney Cruise Line and several other cruise lines. Disney's always been an extremely strong part of my family, and that just has never changed. Planning has always just been one of my favorite parts of preparing for vacations, and so becoming a travel agent just seemed like a great fit. I can't go on vacation all the time, even though I wish I would. But the next best thing is to help all of you to make the most out of your trips. Utilize my experience to help your trips become less stressful and focus more with your family and friends.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that we were both former cast members for Disney, that was something that we bonded over our meeting over at Universal,
Absolutely.
which is funny because we were bonding over that at the other theme park. For me, it was as a kid, I was just growing up loving Disney. I would go to Disney parks with my family. We went to Disney a lot, but we went to Disneyland our first time when I was 13 years old. That was actually a fun experience because I got to experience the other park, Walt's Park, and I became more in love with that park, and it's still my favorite park today. I That's one of the reasons why I try to make a 2-year trip going out there, mostly for the D23 convention. But I definitely just try to make it out there only because to see what Walt built, that is something that you'll never see ever again, and we haven't seen it in a long time. Even with the new direction that the company has gone, we haven't really seen someone take the time to, you know, say this is what I want, and then a couple days later be like, no, you know what, this is what we really should do because this is what everyone wants to see. So it's more of the nostalgia of being that it is Walt's Park, and mostly because it's got the old rides. It's not like Disney World now where everything is more new. So you still get that old nostalgia there. So that's one of my favorite things about the Disneyland park, and what got me really into Disney was just the family, being with them. Um, Being that I come from a divorced family, it was still fun to be able to go to these things uh, that made it special. So, you know, and now I get to live it every single day because
Mm-hmm.
I get to go to Disney every day.
No,
But
you're absolutely right. If when anybody asks me what's my favorite park between Disneyland and Disney World, I don't know if I could answer that. They're so different. I have a personal connection with Walt Disney World just due to my past. However, the many times I've been out to Disneyland, just seeing Walt's personal touches that you don't see over here in Florida, unfortunately. By the time we got to Florida and Magic Kingdom opened, they were kind of out of original ideas pretty soon after that Walt had implemented and had. So that personal touch isn't quite over here as much, and it's just inspiring to see that every time I go to Disneyland.
Well, I get that Roy tried very hard to make his brother's dream come true over here in Florida, and I appreciate everything he tried, but it just didn't have that magic that Walt had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I said, yeah, Roy definitely did an incredible job finishing out Walt's dream here in Orlando. But then again, after that was completed, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot left that they could, pull from the backlog to what are they going to do next. And so obviously the company has come up with a lot of great things since then, but they didn't have, Walt's stamp on them. So as much as, everything that Walt definitely inspired due to his creative leadership.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to divulge into that more in this podcast with future with Disney and all that stuff, and Universal as well. So, but we're excited to be here today to relaunch the Root of All Theme Parks podcast. It's been basically on hiatus for the last 3 years. And it's great that, I have a new co-host. It's great that I'm being sponsored by his company. It's really great that we're going to make this uh, better, and we're bringing it back for everyone. And to be honest with you, I couldn't be more happier, especially when this is the best time on the heels of Epic Universe announcement that was shared by Universal Experiences and Destinations earlier this month. Um, Hard to believe that Epic is the first major theme park to be built in the U.S. since DCA in 2001. Like we were just saying, no one has done anything like this since Walt. And to think that now that we know that it's being built and it was designed it's being designed with love. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to
And
be, and that's why
passion.
it's taking for a while.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. There's definitely no shortage of topics to talk about, and with all the new things coming to Orlando, definitely an exciting time for us. The competition that hopefully is going to ensue by this. The theme park enthusiasts like us are the only ones that are going to win from that. So it's extremely exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and to find out that Steven Spielberg created the entire park himself. He's the co, well, he's co, but really, I believe he's the head honcho behind it all.
I believe so too. The creative direction, yeah, and it's great that they listen to that, yeah, and you can definitely see that in everything that they've shown so far.
Well, we certainly have no shortage of topics and insights we'd like to share and learn from our fellow theme park enthusiast listeners as well.
So I look forward to hearing from them through this cast.
We'll be bringing on guests sooner or later. For the next couple episodes, it will be just between you and me, but we'll eventually be getting a list. I already have a couple of people who are looking to come on, and they're also Disney and Universal enthusiasts. So they're really good and they're ready for a debate.
Excellent. Yep. And like I said, I've got several of my travel agents that I'm in with PSV Vacations that I'm sure will be excited to join us too.
Yeah, I can't wait to have them on the show as well. Today, we'll be catching up everyone on the incredible announcements surrounding Epic Universe, introducing the 5 theme lands. In the following weeks, we'll be diving deep into each of the 5 lands into details. We're going to share our thoughts and discuss the new Tiana Auto animatronic, which that was probably the greatest thing I've ever seen. Uh, what we think about Tiana's Bayou Adventure could mean for the neighboring Frontierland, which I actually now have something I got to bring up about that when we get to it. And then we're going to share the exciting happenings going on for their Universal's annual Mardi Gras celebration, which I've been a couple of times already, and it's been nothing but fun.
Yep. We both
They
been together
always do.
once.
And then the final point is we're going to share a few of our long lists of Universal and Disney latest promos that I can, well, not that I'm going to give, but Greg is going to give you guys to save on your next Orlando visit. So before we get started, I wanted to share that the Root of All Theme Parks is proudly sponsored to you by PS Family Vacations, the dreamers of your next magical getaway. If you'd like to support our content and either not sure where to start your own vacation planning or just don't have the time, please consider benefiting from the experience and enthusiasm of any of the incredible PS Family Vacations travel agents. We know you can book a vacation yourself. However, with the support of an experienced agent, we guarantee you'll be more prepared, more knowledgeable, and satisfied with your overall trip. Always completely free. So start your theme park cruise and all inclusive resort or European adventure today at psfamilyvacations.com. So, yes, if you would like to have your vacation basically helped out, if you don't know how to plan, definitely, and I encourage you all to definitely go to psfamilyvacations.com. They are wonderful and they will definitely help you out. But we move on, which is to a new epic, fantastic news. And that is Epic Universe opening up in summer of 2025. For many of us theme park enthusiasts, most of the information on the lands and the attractions wasn't a surprise. Most of us knew that we were probably getting two. No, we knew about two or three of the lands, basically. It wasn't until it was confirmed that the other lands that we did not know about, which we are super excited about, and we are going to get into that. So there isn't any less excitement from the news. It was more of it was praised. However, if in, if you haven't seen the Epic Universe announcement released, you can go on YouTube and you can look up Universal Orlando Resort and type in Epic. It will definitely come up. You might want to type in Epic Universe. You'll find all the information you need on YouTube for that. And you'll get that on my YouTube channel as well, the Root of All Theme Parks YouTube channel. I will be divulging when it gets closer to Epic Universe being open. I will be actually in the park when it opens up. So we'll be having a lot of fun on that. Another thing I want to mention simply refers to the competition that Disney fans are hoping that this not only will improve the theme park down the street, which is Disney World, but also that the competition will be back because there really wasn't a competition for a while. And I think the pandemic kind of started bringing it back because when they both came back from COVID, it was all right. Who is going to be the better park to go to during the coming out period? So it was kind of interesting to see that Universal was kind of winning that situation. So to get the competition back between the parks, I believe that's gonna to help out uh, moving forward into the future. I don't know if you
Yeah.
believe that.
No, definitely. I think both of the parks took a very different approach to the pandemic, obviously. The Universal strategy was obviously full steam ahead. And as we know, Disney took kind of a back seat. Wait and see kind of a scenario. And yeah, this is what we're seeing as a result of that. Universal is getting a head start.
Yeah, Universal took that no reservation system. They kept it. Everyone was open to come. Disney went a different route and they decided to do the reservation system. It worked out for a little while, and I agree that it was fine. But when they extended it to basically, it's still around now, and I don't think it's needed anymore.
Hmm. No, they like to have a lot of or they say they like to have the analytical data to make staffing decisions and, food purchasing decisions, things like that. But yeah, for the consumer, I think Universal is definitely paving the way and getting us back to reminding us what the stress free theme park experience was.
Yeah, because I've noticed it more and more, knowing that I work at Universal. I noticed that the amount of people we're getting in, especially this week alone, it's it's doubled from what last year was, and we're getting more people, and I think it has to still do with Disney's under the reservations. Now they've been really nice to the annual pass holders, Disney, where they dropped the whole reservation system. Now they have the to go 2 days, but we'll get into that at another later point. But the fact that they eased it for annual pass holders, but the regular guests who are still coming down for vacations, it hasn't.
No,
And I think
you're
that's what they're
absolutely right.
noticing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For you and I as an annual pass holder, I don't open the parks as much as I used to, of course. So having not needing to make a reservation till after 2 o'clock works great for you and I as an annual pass holder. But the reality is, a lot of my clients, I still need to explain to them what the reservation system is all about. Now, thankfully, the date-based tickets as of January 9th is the reservations have gone away. But if they do purchase a ticket that does not have a date assigned to it, reservations are definitely still a thing. So, definitely a lot of education is still needed there on the Disney side that's not on Universal.
Yeah, and I think Disney is still in that sit back and wait situation. And it's been what? We're in 2024, so we came out of the pandemic with the theme parks, what, late of 2021? So they've been going on, what, 2, 3 years of sitting back. I don't know how much more sitting back you can do. But going back to the big announcement, which is Epic Universe, they're giving us those 5 lands. We did know about the Super Mario World because of what was over at Hollywood Universal, so we knew that was coming here. The Dark Universe Classic Monster World, which we also knew because when they took it out of the Universal Park and switched it to Minions Land, we we kind of heard the rumblings that they were going to put it now its own land in Epic, which is pretty exciting to know that we're actually going to get something like that because they have over at Hollywood's Universal, they have where the classic monsters come out and greet, and they have like a little section. So it would be nice to see a bigger land of it. The other one that the rumor and rumblings that I was hearing was the How to Train Your Dragon land, and I was thinking to myself, how is that going to work? And because I didn't think, in my opinion, I didn't think that How to Train Your Dragon was more popular than, let's say, Shrek with Puss in Boots or Trolls or all the other movies that they've come out with. So I didn't think, because it was a big gap between the movies now. So I didn't think it was going to be this big excitement for it, but it does have a lot of excitement. The other land was the Harry Potter land, which was another one that people knew was coming. I think they knew that more than they thought the How to Train Your Dragon. And the Harry Potter land is the Ministry of Magic. That is under wraps. We don't know much about that yet. But when we divulge into those, each land, we will hopefully get some information about it. And then the final land is the Celestial Park, which is the main big park itself. It's going to be basically, I would say, if you agree with me, Greg, about 75% of the park.
It's definitely one of the largest lands, absolutely, and I'm extremely excited about that. You know, it's people look at it or might say it's just a hub, but it looks like it's so much more than that. There's several restaurants, several attractions, and even a fountain nighttime show in there to music and lights that we're hearing about. So I'm actually, it seems weird, almost as excited about Celestial Park as any of the other peripherals.
Right. And I think it goes into for those of you who didn't watch the video, but heard about the old ride that used to be at Universal, that's now Harry Potter World, Dueling Dragons. They brought back the Dueling Dragons type coaster for Celestial Park. We thought it was going to be in the How to Train Your Dragon land, but it's not. They got their own roller coaster, I found out, but the Celestial Park is getting the Dueling Dragons roller coaster. We don't have a name for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
we do. It's Starfall Racers.
oh, is it?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Okay, so we do have a name for it. What was it called again?
Starfall Racers.
Okay, because I saw the video of it and I was pretty excited because this whole time that was if you've seen any of the stuff on Facebook or if you've seen any of the videos of people with their drones flying over getting pictures of it, that was the first coaster and first ride that was being built. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
was like, "What's this yellow track?"
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting. It got a lot of landscaping long before anything else. So yeah, they've gotten a really big head start on it. And the other interesting thing is I hear there's not going to be any uplighting for this coaster. Um, Instead, all the lighting is going to be on the vehicles themselves. So it'll actually look like asteroids kind of moving through the land and racing each other. So definitely really looking forward to that. The effects that they're going to do on this should be impressive.
I agree. I mean, the point of Epic Universe is to be futuristic. So futuristic, and I think space stuff like that. So that's going to be an interesting coaster, and I think that's going to be very packed. Well, we all know that Epic Universe is going to be packed the first day. The other two parks are probably going to be nobody in them. So, but Epic Universe is going to be packed for the next what once it opens up. So I would say it probably will die down late 2026. If
Yep,
you
it's going to be a while. Definitely going to be a lot of hype out of this.
right,
And like you said, we didn't really, we heard rumors about How to Train Your Dragon, but it's interesting. It's got more real estate than any of the other four, actually. So they're hedging a lot of bets on that one.
yeah, that I did notice that out of all the lands, that one besides Celestial Park, uh, How to Train Your Dragon Land is a lot bigger than the other remaining three.
Hmm.
So they are really banking on that. And after watching the movies myself, because I finally just watched the movies for the first time, I think maybe about a month ago. So I actually enjoyed them. They're not bad movies. I just didn't think they were as popular. But they're going to bank
Although
on it.
Yeah, although I don't know, I've got other friends with children that have been in love with that franchise for years. So, um, just because it's not something we've been exposed to, doesn't mean, we may be on the pulse of everything. So, yeah, I'm sure they've done their research to make that decision. The other interesting thing is to notice about Epic Universe is it's definitely not done yet. They may have announced those four peripheral portal lands, but there's actually two major expansion plots left over for future growth. Each one of them has 20 acres, and the other has almost. And How to Train Your Dragon is only 7. So they've got some really large expansion plots that they can work with within this new park. Some of the suggested lands is Zelda, Lord of the Rings, or Pokemon. What would your favorite be out of those three?
Probably the most popular one would be Pokemon.
Okay.
But I think I know that there's been rumors about Pokemon coming to Universal, being that they do have a contract with Nintendo since they have Nintendo World with Mario.
Yep.
Um,
And they need to do something with Back to the Future ride or Simpsons ride now, but that's another discussion we can talk about later.
well, that was what the rumor is. They were going to change The Simpsons to Pokemon, but there's so many other things going on that they're talking about. But like you said, we're going to go into the topic of that at a different time. So,
Hmm.
but I could definitely see Pokemon, and most people think when you said 20 acres is still left open, um, they think, oh, no, that's not a lot. If you have actually seen 20 acres, it's, I believe, isn't Hollywood Studios at Disney 20 acres? Maybe even less than that?
Well, to, to
If I'm correct, I believe that Hollywood Studios is less than um, 20 acres.
you saying the whole park?
No,
The
no.
whole
Okay, so I'm looking it up right now. It is 135 acres.
135. Yeah.
Um, but It just seems that it's smaller, as we all know, but
Hmm.
20 acres is still big. So
Yeah,
there's still a lot of things. They could probably fit two lands in there. I mean, if you're saying that it was 7 acres for How to Train Your Dragon, then they can fit maybe even three lands in that 20 acres.
potentially.
And it should be interesting to see that. Um,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
then,
Universal Studios Florida is 108 acres, and Islands of Adventure is 110. So yeah, that's a fifth of the size of either one of those parks that we have room to grow.
oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they bought so much land. Like we said, it is basically the only way to describe Epic is all four Disney, well, the whole Disney resort, I believe, and then you could put that into Epic Universe, and you could put one or two of both the Universal parks in there. That's how big it is. It is the biggest park in the United States. I haven't looked up, but it might be the biggest park in the world, and that I believe
Yep,
is
and
is great.
it says it's approximately 750 acres, the entire plot. And I've done some deep dive on this too. There's three more large dedicated hotel plots totaling 189 acres that have not been used. This is separate from the Stella Luna and Helios Grand.
Which are
Uh,
now opening up in January and February of 2024.
yep,
2025, sorry.
yep, they're opening up, and the parking lot right. I think it's to the east of the park, on the other side of the Helios Grand Hotel. That's 50 acres just in that parking lot. Now, if that was reduced and shrunk a little bit, there's another 104 acres on the other side of that parking lot. So there's more than enough room for a second theme park on that property if they reduce the size of that parking lot and made it a garage, just like they did over at the Universal Orlando Resort. So yeah, lots of exciting room to grow for in that area.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at what we can use Disneyland as an example. They used to have a parking lot right in front of the Disneyland park. Now they
Mm-hmm.
got rid of it, and that's where California Adventure sits. So there's a chance that they might end up doing that because there's going to be the bus system from the original two parks and those resorts that they're going to be able to go straight to Epic Universe from there. So
Mm-hmm.
I could probably see them not now, but in maybe let's say 10 to 15 years if they say let's expand it to a second, our fourth park, really our
Mm-hmm.
fifth because they already have the water park as one of their three. So Epic Universe would make it four. If they were to say let's make a fifth park, let's um, let's reduce the parking lot, and they probably could find another spot to build a little bit more parking somewhere else.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there were several other places where, like I said, there were three more large hotel plots totaling 189 acres spread out around that Epic Universe total area of 750 acres. So yeah, the parking could go someplace else. In between those two theme parks could be another city walk. Possibilities are definitely endless. They definitely, left their options open.
Right. Also, that was announced by Epic Universe is the besides the Stella Luna and the Terra Luna, which are basically value resorts, just like Endless Summer,
Correct.
is the Helios Grand. It's rumored to be the premier resort, which for Universal means including Universal Express, which everyone loves.
Hmm. That's correct. That comes with every premier resort at Universal's Orlando Resort. There's the Hard Rock, there's the Pacific, the Royal Pacific, and the Portofino Bay. All three of those premier hotels right now offer the Universal Express Unlimited option for free with your resort stay. So I don't see any reason why the Helios Grand wouldn't offer that as well.
Now that's the one that's going to be inside the park, correct?
That's correct. Yep. All the way at the end by the water fountain.
That's going to be interesting to see because I've passed it and I've seen it. It doesn't look big. It doesn't, but that's because you're seeing it from far away, but it could be bigger when you see it in person. It just like I said, it looks pretty small, and I don't know if it's meant to look like that from afar, but it
It's
is.
it's
It
showing 500 rooms.
That's not bad. 500 room is not that bad.
I'm quickly comparing that to another one. The Hard Rock Hotel in Orlando has 650. Um, so not quite as big, but very close, and definitely a lot of people will be excited about having a premier resort inside the park the way it is and overlooking the park. It's going to be incredible looking out over Celestial Park from your room.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Um, I think this is going to be what we wanted it to be and what we've been rumored to hear. I think this is going to change tourism in Florida for the next decade. I'm going to say because it's going to push the other theme parks like SeaWorld, Busch Gardens. I know Busch Gardens is in Tampa, but it's going to push Disney and all them to basically try to compete and better themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I can't wait to see what it does for the tourism here.
Yep, absolutely. Like I said, during the pandemic, the Universal definitely took a different approach when it came to what their future is going to look like, and they invested heavily. Not to go too far off topic, but I want to mention, yeah, just how great Universal's overall marketing portfolio strategy is looking. Not only are they building this additional fourth theme park here in Orlando, but some of you may not know they're Universal's also building a kids park over in Frisco, Texas. That's slated to be open in summer of 2026. I think it's genius to the way that they're so clearly marketing and even calling the park. The official name of the park is the Universal Kids Park. Obviously, I'm sure they marketed that for a very specific reason, not to pull their existing customer base from either coast, Universal Hollywood or the Universal Orlando Resort. Because generally, as we all know, Universal has kind of mostly marketed towards teenagers and adults. You know, Halloween Horror Nights and Mardi Gras and those kind of things. Yeah, they've gotten a little bit into Minions Land and now setting up DreamWorks Land. But in general, Universal Studios has strategically kind of, I think, stayed away from, Disney's primary market in the Orlando and LA area. So now that they have invested more in DreamWorks and all these other kids focused IPs, I think it was really smart of them to go over to Texas in the middle of the country to implement this Universal Kids Park. So it's definitely going to tap into a different market, Disney's market, while at the same time not taking away from the attendance to Universal Hollywood or Universal Orlando Resort. So, yeah, just more exciting news coming out of Universal Summer 2026, the Universal Kids Park over in Frisco, Texas.
Well, when DreamWorks Land opens up here in 2024, and we're only a couple of months away from it being open, I've already seen Shrek's swamp already, you know,
Yep.
over the walls already. So,
It's looking cool. It's looking cool. I like it. Shrek's one of my favorites anyway.
but what I found out is DreamWorks Land is a smaller version of what they're building over in Frisco, Texas.
I believe that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be so for the ones who are here, they'll get a little piece of what they're building over in Texas, which will make
Mm-hmm.
them be like, well, let's go see what's over there and see the difference. So it's they're pulling people, be like, okay, well, there's a destination, and they're building hotels over there. They're building everything you can think of just to
Mm-hmm.
draw everyone there. Along with, it seems as though Universal is trying to go more west. As we know now, they're trying to do the 24/7, 365 days a year Halloween Horror Nights in Vegas.
Yeah. Hmm.
So most of everything is going out west. So that should be interesting to get more tourism going out there. And it kind of, and to be honest with you, it kind of helps Disney in a way as well. And Disney people are like, well, how is that going to help? I said, because if people go out west, Disney might think about opening up, and the rumor's always been to open something up in Texas.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah.
they might.
Hmm.
They might decide, well, maybe we want to do something in Vegas because if Universal's there, we want to be there. And then people are going to be like, well, what's it like over at Hollywood Universal? So they're going to go over there. And then they'll be
Hmm.
like, well, we also have Disneyland down the road. So why don't we go try there? So it's going to help,
Hmm.
but it's also going to cause the competition that we need.
Yep, exactly. We're the ones that are going to win. Absolutely. So yeah, I think over the next few podcasts, we're going to be deep diving a little bit more into each one of the Epic Universe lands. So we won't go into too much detail on those today, but looking forward to those discussions.
Yeah, I agree. And if you need any uh, reassurance, you can always go on YouTube and you can go look this up on the Universal Orlando Resort. They got everything you need. Um, Mostly all the videos of what's coming out in the Epic Universe Park. But like I said, we're going to
Yep.
divulge over the next couple of podcasts about each land. So I think that will help out a little bit more.
And we can put some of those links in the show notes, right, Matt?
Yes, we can do that.
Yep,
Um,
definitely will.
Yeah, I'll put that in the because this is going to go and everyone. I don't know if everyone's listening to this on YouTube. I don't know if you're listening to this on your favorite Apple podcast or anything like that. But this will also go onto my YouTube channel. So in the about section of this episode, you'll be able to see all the links that we have available that will send you to what we're talking about.
Perfect.
But speaking of which land are you most excited about and why?
Oh, that's got to be Super Mario World. I'm definitely that Gen X generation where I remember my first SNES, or remember my first NES system, excuse me, the first one. And the hours my brother and I used to spend playing Super Mario Brothers. Um, and even beyond that, I'm really excited about Donkey Kong Country. I remember wearing that game out as well. And even to this day, Mario Kart is a favorite between my brother and I and my niece and nephew. Whenever we get together, Mario Kart always seems to have has a role in it. Um, so definitely Super Mario World and Harry Potter as a close second. How about you?
For me, it's got to be Super Mario Land, Nintendo World, and that's because, as I said, I grew up playing with the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. It was always Pokemon and Super Mario. Um, as the systems got better as I grew up, you know, my favorite game of all time was Mario 64. And that game I could play hours upon hours on, and it was just fun, especially when you take the penguin and you throw it off the side of the uh, ice ramp. That was fun. um, and then you get to race the penguin. You don't get to do that. Um, Mario Party with the families that I always did, and now I play Mario Kart and Smash Bros. With Mario Kart, I actually have it on my phone now. They have an app for it. I don't know if it's on Android, but I know it's on the iPhones. So they have the Mario Kart, and it's under the. Um, I actually have it right in front of me. It's called Mario. Actually, it is Mario Kart on there. I thought maybe it was under a different name because I know that Disney is coming out with their own version of their Mario Kart, which is
Hmm.
Disney characters. That's going to be coming out on the iPhone very soon. I think somewhere in July.
Is
I
that is
think it's
that
called Disney Racers or something.
okay? Does it have any tie with Nintendo or Mario?
It's like Super Mario,
Okay.
where you
All
get
right.
power ups and stuff.
Okay. I didn't think there was any. I would think there'd be contractual restrictions at Nintendo's. Probably not collaborating with Disney at this time.
Well, the game is on all the other systems right now. It's already out. It's just not out on the iPhone yet. It's coming soon. So you can get it on the Switch, you can get it on Xbox and PlayStation. So it's already out. Um,
Okay.
I've heard nothing but good reviews about it. But they
Hmm.
said it's basically just like Super Mario, with their characters, with Mario Kart. So
Okay. I'll have
it's
to
you
check
pick your
that out. I
favorite
assume they're
character and you
multiplayer.
race. What was
Are
that?
they? I assume they're both multiplayer.
Yes, there is multiple player and online play.
Okay. Awesome. I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, on the N64, I also used to play the Donkey Kong World. That one was great, especially that they're bringing the part of that game with the roller coaster that they're coming out with, the Donkey Kong roller coaster. So that's gonna be fun because now I'm gonna be like, now I used to play the game, now I'm living the roller coaster. So that's gonna be pretty fun about Nintendo World. And then for me, I'm a horror guy, so I would love to see the Monsters World. And it
Oh, I'm
doesn't
definitely
mean
looking forward to it too. Don't get me wrong.
and it doesn't mean that it's got to be Frankenstein and all that. My best guess is it's going to be other monsters. So I'm thinking
Mhm.
maybe Beetlejuice can show up there.
Yep.
I mean,
No, that'd
that
be
would be
awesome.
nice.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely just looking forward to the immersion that all of these worlds are going to create, and Monsters is definitely going to be one that you're going to be transported into Transylvania instantly, and so it's all really exciting.
All right, so I think we've given Epic Universe and Universal a little bit of love. We'll come back to it in a little bit because this topic will basically combine into each other. Mardi Gras just passed on Tuesday, and Fat Tuesday for most of us. So we got a great big announcement from Disney, and that was the Tiana's Bayou is now opening up in summer of 2025, not in the winter anymore. It was in the winter, now it's in the summer, it's moving up. And a little tidbit that I don't know if you saw it this morning, and they just did it this morning. Um, they put the water back on, so
I saw that this
they're testing
morning.
the carts.
Yep, I know that's exciting. They need to get this open again. That I can't say Splash Mountain anymore, but that attraction was such a people eater that they're gonna need to get that open as soon as possible. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. They're they're speed running this.
Well, I'm kind of interested to see what because every Disney ride always does an homage to the original ride it took over. So I'm wondering what homage they're going to put in for the Splash Mountain. What's going to be there? And
I've heard people talking about that, and it will be interesting. Yes.
but we got the Mardi Gras, we got Tiana's animatronic that we got to see. I think that was the best animatronic, and I'm thinking and I'm hoping, and a lot of people are, that if this animatronic is that good, hopefully they'll go to all the older rides like Frozen and replace all their animatronics with these new animatronics because this one is very advanced for the times. I don't
Well,
know if I mean, if you've been on the Frozen ride, you see that they're using the old LED face lights. Um, and I think they're using the Anna and Elsa animatronics that looks like Tiana's in where is it? Huh? Is it Shanghai that they have the new Frozen land?
um, no, that's Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. So Hong Kong's got the new Frozen land, and they're using the same animatronic system that they're using with Tiana right now, and it looks amazing. So I'm hoping that with the Tiana animatronic, we're gonna get some revamps for all the other animatronic rides that are still available. I don't know if you're excited for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, one of the first things I thought of was I was excited to see that it's not a projection face, like you said. Over the last several attractions that we've gotten, Frozen Ever After and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, they've kind of led heavily on the projection faces, and it was cool. It was neat. It can be very responsive, of course, when they're singing and things like that, but it was also really cool to see them going back to what they do well, and that is just a traditional animatronic face. So yeah, overall, I'm just extremely excited for it. It did seem like only the eyes open and closed and the mouth open just a little bit. It did not have as much intricacy as the Song of Songs auto animatronic we all know um, over at the Navi River Journey. But not everything I don't think has to be that level. That was an impressive one that shocked everybody. I'm just excited to get a traditional animatronic back that looked really smooth and fluid, and it really looked like her. It definitely did. It was unmistakable. And it sounds like we're getting a number of other animatronics in there. Mama Odie is going to have an auto animatronic, and also the Prince Navi is going to have an auto animatronic, and also a bunch more animals and things like that. I'm sure they're going to resurrect some of the animals that were there before. Um, Oh, and the alligator. They're making an animatronic for that. So yeah, I'm excited. I think they're going all in on this story, and it's one of my favorite Disney movies of more recent years. So it definitely was deserving of its own attraction.
And I like the new fresh look that she's got. She's got the cut hair. She's got the new belted jacket, the fitted green pants, the tall brown boots. So it's more of like adventurer
Mm-hmm.
looking Tiana, which I like. It's something new. It's not. It's showing that yes, she is a princess, but she's also able to be an adventurer. She's doing other things that normally we don't see from our princesses here at Disney do.
I agree. Yeah, it's getting away from the stereotype that every princess has to be in a dress, has to have a tiara on. No, Tiana is definitely an entrepreneur. She's able to get her boots on, and go take care of things for herself. And also, one of the reasons I really loved that movie is it had such a message that went beyond wishing for stuff that you wanted. That's all fine and good, but I think a lot of adults realize after a while wishing is not always enough. You've got to focus on something and you got to work hard to get it. And Tiana definitely embodied all that in the movie. So I think she's an incredible inspiration for any of the kids that are watching.
Well, if you're my mother, she'll tell you straight up that I see Tiana more often than I see any other princess. She's like, "Are you? You must be obsessed with her and love her very much." I was like, "Yes, actually, I do. I think she's
Mm-hmm.
one of the best princesses we have had
Yeah.
in a long time."
Uh-huh.
And I enjoy going to see her. I just saw her on Valentine's Day with Prince Naveen, so I waited online for that,
Mm-hmm. No, definitely
and
agree.
it was a crazy day on Valentine's Day. Honestly, she had I think a 2.5 hour wait, but I
Jeez, I
waited
believe
only
it.
about 10 minutes.
I believe it. Yeah, she's a popular one for a good reason. So yeah, we'll also put in the show notes on this one the announcement that showed the animatronic, and also the YouTube video directly, so you can see it for yourself. It's really impressive.
Yeah, that will be on the YouTube channel as well. So, but the other thing about uh, Tiana's bio, since we're talking about it, and I know we didn't bring it up. We've talked about it a couple times, but we didn't bring it up for this show, um, which is the Pecco Bills rumor.
That's right. Yep.
Um, so there was I had this thought. It's weird. So I was seeing people on Facebook talking about the Pecco Bill rumor that they're going to change it to Tiana's place, which I don't have a problem with.
Hmm.
My feeling is they have decided that they're going to make New Orleans Square or like a New Orleans landing, kind of like they have over at Disneyland.
Yep.
I
Uh-huh.
think that's going to happen,
Hmm.
and people are going crazy over it. Like, oh, we love Pecco Bills, we love it, we don't want to see it go away. But the thing about this is, there, in my opinion, is if you change that to Tiana's place, you put it next to Tiana's Bayou, and then everyone's like, well, where's Frontierland going? I think Disney's got the mindset that I just thought about. They're thinking about the expansion behind Big Thunder Mountain.
Exactly. I agree. That's going to become the new Frontierland back there.
That's going to be Frontierland. And they
Hmm.
might put Pecco Bills there, knowing that
Well,
it is very popular.
I don't know. Pecos Bill is kind of a troubling IP that Disney's had. That they've been trying to distance themselves from for a while. So
Well,
um,
maybe they'll do
this
the
is an
same type
opportunity.
of restaurant, quick serve, but with a
Sure.
different name.
With a different name, yeah. I don't think they are looking to hold on to that name because if you remember the cartoon, Pecos Bill's always chasing the girl.
Oh, good point.
um, yeah, so I think that's one they wouldn't mind stepping
Well,
away
I think
from.
it makes sense.
Kind of like Song of the South, why they had to get rid of Splash Mountain.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense for them to build the same type of quick serve, and it makes sense because they were thinking about doing Coco and Encanto, but it might be both. I know that they're doing Encanto over at Animal Kingdom. That was the other rumor going around, and we'll discuss
Correct,
that
yeah.
another day.
At the Tropical Americas expansion over to Animal Kingdom. You're right, that's another discussion, but it's interesting that, yeah, originally the Behind Big Thunder Mountain expansion was going to be about Coco, was going to be about Encanto, and now they've announced that they're pretty sure it's going over there. So will they put it in both places? I don't
And
know.
what makes sense about it is Coco is about Mexico. And what does Peco Bills serve? They serve a lot of Mexican food. So
Mhm.
it kind of makes sense that it's probably going to go to a Coco theme. Maybe it's going to be called Miguel's.
Yep, and they do have a Coco quick service over at Disneyland Paris in their they call it it's their Frontierland, but it's actually Thunder Mesa. They actually don't even call it Frontierland over there. But yeah, they have a quick service that's sponsored by Coco. It wasn't always when I went there a few years ago. I forget what the name was. It wasn't IP based, but since then they have made it Coco.
Right.
So they've done it
I
before.
did notice that. And maybe we'll stop in there when we go in August together to
Well, no,
Disneyland.
I'm talking about Disneyland Paris.
Oh, Disneyland. I know that they have one over at Disneyland.
Oh, okay. I didn't know their Frontierland had a Coco restaurant. Okay,
Not the Frontierland. They put it over at DCA.
got it. Okay.
So they have because that's where they do a Coco show.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
No,
but I
they do
believe it's the
that.
same one they're doing over at Paris.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, but then everyone's like, okay, that makes sense. You put that as Frontierland, you move the Pecco Bills and Tiana as the Little New Orleans. But what are you going to do with the Country Bears? Now, we just found out, we knew that they're getting a new show. It's coming sometime at the end of this year, maybe
Mm-hmm.
end of summer, beginning of winter, fall. We
Yeah.
don't know an actual date yet.
Yeah, but
But
we know it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
no, it's not going anywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, but that's country. And then I had to remind people stating that I get that it's country, but isn't country a southern music? And where is
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana? In the South. So it still works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it absolutely could, and I've even heard somebody else make the explanation that going from Liberty Square to New Orleans Square, all the way over to the desert lands or Frontierland, that could be Big Thunder and behind, it could all work in the theme of westward expansion.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like you go from the East Coast, which is Liberty Square, you
Yep.
go mid America, which is Louisiana, and
Yep.
then you get to Frontierland, which is West.
Yep, exactly. So you're talking 1776 for Liberty Square. You're talking the Louisiana Purchase was 1803, and then you're talking Big Thunder Mountain, which is 1849, in general. But so yeah, westward expansion and the time frame works as you walk that direction. So they could go that direction with it. I agree. I think there's a lot of ways that they could still keep Country Bear Musical Jamboree in a New Orleans Square type environment. And another reason why I think they're thinking about going this direction is the other day on Fat Tuesday, they actually brought in a New Orleans style jazz band to play right there in front of the riverboat, kind of like they do out in Disneyland. But yeah, they've never had a jazz band, marching band type group there in Liberty Square before, and they marched all the way over towards Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or the future location of. So yeah, there's that they're already touching on some entertainment for a New Orleans Square area, and for the last several weeks they've been selling beignets already over there in Frontierland, right next to Tiana's at the Golden Outpost. So they are tipping their feet into what people might think about that becoming a New Orleans area, possibly. Again, these are all, just open for discussion that we enjoy doing. None of this is factual, nor are we saying that we have heard anything saying that it is, but it's still
No,
fun to talk.
these are rumors of our own ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're we're thinking about what we would like to see, but the company has not come out and said any of this stuff. So this is just
Mm-hmm.
us speculating what we would like to see, and I think a lot of other people would love to see it as
Yeah.
well.
And trying
Um,
to recognize patterns of things that we've seen from them already. Yeah.
right, with the patterns we're seeing, we're starting to think that maybe this is where they're going, and then it's going to take maybe as soon as the Bayou opens up, we're probably going to get some more announcements about other expansions on that area.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. I could definitely see Frontierland turning into a turn of the century 1800s New Orleans Square area. Those buildings, I don't think it would take too much to turn that into, they have to maybe fancy it up a little bit, make it a little more shiny and not so, wooden planks. But I think the building style is not too far off from something that they could do with a New Orleans area.
Well, they might do what they did at Disneyland, because I think Tiana's Place is a two-story over at
Correct.
Disneyland. I believe it
Yeah.
is.
Hmm.
So they might go and add an extra story to it, and who knows, that might actually be maybe an annual pass holder lounge, because it seems like they're going to add more lounges. I've been noticing, because a lot of annual pass holders have been asking for them.
Hmm.
So that would be nice if you made a second story to that building, and it could be an annual pass holder lounge.
Yep, that would be nice. I'm not sure I see them investing that much capital in this, but I could be surprised. I would think they're just going to probably reskin it, but again, we'll see what happens.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that moves on into Mardi Gras over at Universal, which has been going on since the 3rd of February. And we are now what? Today is the 18th. So we've already got through three concerts. Actually, I think last night's concert, because of the weather, it did get canceled. So I don't
Oh,
know if
really?
she got
Okay.
moved.
Vanessa Barrett. Yeah. Okay.
So I know that her concert might have been moved. But we already got Walker Hayes, and I forgot who last week was.
Tonight's Casey and the Sunshine Band. I'm sure a lot of people will remember them. And next week is Bare Naked Ladies. The week after that, DJ Khaled. Week
Another one.
after that, Ava Max. The week after that is going to be Queen Latifah. And the other two, I'm not as familiar with, Louis Fonzi, and the following week, Zed. So, yeah, overall, a really strong lineup.
Yeah, Zed is mostly the guy who does kind of music like this.
Oh, okay. You having that ready.
Yeah, he does that kind of music. But
Okay.
I'm
Is that
really
his
excited
song?
for I'm really excited for DJ Khaled.
Okay. There you go.
So I know that
Cool.
was a little John, but I'm really excited for DJ Khaled.
Hmm.
Um, but the food this year has been great. Um, I sampled a couple of it. I did actually sample that shrimp gumbo and the shrimp crawfish boil. I thought that was really delicious.
Okay.
Um, and the other drink that I only had one drink, and it was um, over by Transformers. I remember it was called oh my god, King
Was
King
that a?
Crab Cake.
Oh, okay. A brew. It was a beer, right?
It was a beer. It was a brown
Yeah.
ale, and it tasted like a cake. they say it's crab cake, and I thought, is this going to taste like a crab? And they're like, no, it actually tastes like an actual sweet cake.
Yeah.
So
I saw a couple other YouTubers drink that. Yeah, and they liked it too.
it was delicious. And there's some other stuff I would like to try out. Like maybe the chicken jambalaya, something like that. This and um they're offering, if you come through, you could spend $65 and they'll put it on a card for you. They will give you $10 more. So you'll get a $75 card to go and drink and eat for 65 bucks.
Hmm.
Also, for annual pass holders, they're doing something even better. You could spend $120 for that same card and you'll get 150 to go spend. And I was told that if Mardi Gras ends and you still have money on it, it's good for the whole rest of the year. It does not expire.
At the end of Mardi Gras. Okay, that's
So
great.
even after Mardi Gras ends and you still say, "Oh, well, I still have, let's say, $50 left over,"
Yep.
and you think that you wasted it. I
Mhm.
did speak to uh, some of the team members, and they did tell me they are allowing it to have no expiration date, so
That
you
makes
can use it
sense.
all year round.
Yep, that makes sense. It really does. A lot of people might have reservations. I don't want to put this much on if I'm possibly not going to use it, and it's really smart that they do that to take that reservation away.
Right, and I think it's smart. I'm probably this week probably going to do that deal, the 120. Uh, if they let me as a team member, I don't know if they're going to let me, but if anything, I'll do the 65. I'm going to try it so that way I can go and try and sample other things.
Hmm.
Because actually, if you think about it, I was doing it. It's less money it's more money if you spend individually
Of
than
course.
using the actual card itself. I
Hmm.
found out.
Yeah, of course. Do they limit it to just food? I'm sure
It's
they.
it's food and alcohol,
Yep. Okay.
so it's everything for the whole festival.
Hmm. Great.
So I think it's a great deal for
Hmm.
everybody.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
it's kind of like it's like the dining plan for Disney, but only
Hmm.
strictly for the food and alcohol uh, that you can
Hmm.
pick up at like a regular kiosk.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a discounted gift card, but exclusive just to food and alcohol. But yeah, that sounds great.
Correct. But Mardi Gras ends at Universal on April 7th, and we've got a lot of time left. But there's one festival that we don't have a lot of time left, and that's the Epcot Festival of Arts, which I have already been to a bunch of times,
I
and
have
it's
to. Yeah.
probably my favorite festival of all time.
It's one of mine. I'm looking forward to this one coming up here, the Flower and Garden starting on the 28th. Always been my favorite, knowing spring is coming, warmer weather is coming. I've always been here for that one, seeing the topiaries and the flowers. Yeah, it just, to me, symbolizes just an exciting renewal of the year with the Flower and Garden for me. But everybody has a different opinion on what their favorite festival is. Let us
Well,
know
I
what yours
like I
are.
like art. I'm an art guy. I like the Broadway shows. My friend Michael James Scott, who plays the genie on Broadway and still is the genie on Broadway, um, he comes every single year, so I always go and see him. And I love listening to his voice. And I just met Mandy Gonzalez this year. She played on Aisha, so they're just amazing talents, and I just like when people show their talent, which either be in theater, art, music, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I love doing that. I love going to it every single year. So and always it's always new. It's not the same art you saw the year before. It's always new.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like especially like the chalk art. It's different every single time because it only lasts a few days. I love going by and trying to snap some pictures of those chalk art because they're the artists that do those are incredibly talented.
Now, when's the last date for that?
Uh, Ends February 19th tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so tomorrow is the last day of the Festival of Arts, and then we go right into, as you said, the Flower and Garden on February 28th to May 27th.
That's correct. Next Wednesday starts up. Not this coming, but the next one, the 28th.
So, what exactly are you looking forward to for this Flower and Garden this year?
Oh, there's so much. They're going to have almost 20 outdoor kitchens this time and over 60 new items. That's a pretty large list. Definitely excited for us to get out there and taste a bunch of it and let you guys know what we think. Looking at the list of the new items, geez, the ones that really caught my eye. First off, there was a grilled warm lobster tail with key lime butter. I don't know. I love key lime pie, and of course, everybody loves butter. So, drop that on a lobster, and I don't know how you could lose. There's also a seared scallop with tomato risotto. Everything about that sounds amazing. Couple others. They're doing a biscuit and gravy with Impossible chicken fried steak and Impossible sausage gravy. I'm not always an Impossible fan, but this sounds interesting. It might be biscuits and gravy and chicken fried steak are some of my favorite foods anyway. So they've got me just with those words. So I'm going to give it a try. And last one that sounded really innovative was a liquid nitro honey mascarpone cheesecake with fresh honey and granulated honey and honey mead blueberry compote.
So,
So
just honey.
honey in a lot of different forms. Yeah, I love that. That's what I love about these festivals is they take things that sometimes we're used to and just twist it around in unique ways, deconstruct it, and just kind of flips what you think of these traditional foods upside down, and takes you out of your comfort zone sometimes. And I'm always there for that.
Well, you did more research on this section than I did because, like I said, I was. It's not one of my favorites. I would say it would go arts, then food and wine, and then flower and garden. So it's not one of my favorites. I do like the music artists that are coming. So
Hmm.
just remember, we do have bands who do play throughout the whole festival, as well as food and garden. They do as well. My favorites are the M80s and the Hooligans. They're wonderful. They're a wonderful group, and actually, the M80s does perform on a regular daily basis over at the UK Pavilion.
Hmm.
They were contracted with Disney after last year,
Cool.
so they are now a permanent stay. I haven't seen them in a while. I think that's because of they're going to be going into now transitioning into the flower and garden. But um, usually when it's slow down time, not really the best, and all that. Oh, and I do apologize. I was wrong. I actually do have to put it as Arts Festival is number one. The Festival of the Holidays is two, because I do love what they
Hmm.
do during Christmas.
Candlelight processional.
That, also the story of Hanukkah,
Oh,
um,
yep. The storytellers.
the storytellers, everything, the wonderful treats that they have at Christmas time, and Hanukkah. They have the latkes and all that. That's some of the best stuff.
Hmm. No, definitely. But going
And
back to
then it would go food and wine for me.
Gotcha. But going back to the concert lineup here coming up for the Flower and Garden, just to make sure everybody knows, they do offer if you're ever concerned about not being able to get seats at any of these shows, definitely reach out to myself and I can help you out. They do offer a Garden Rocks concert series dining package, where for a set price for each restaurant, you can get a guaranteed front row seat or close to front row seat after your dining. So it's something that a lot of people are interested in. They are, of course, bringing that back this year.
Well, I think that's a great way into the next segment and our final segment, which is the travel and dining. We got announced just a couple days ago that the 1900 Park Fair is reopening.
Yep. Dining is something I'm always excited about. Maybe too excited, but yeah, dining at Walt Disney World, I don't know. Sometimes I might say at a restaurant outside of Walt Disney World, no, that's too expensive. But as soon as I go on Disney property, I'm like, I'm here for the experience. So dining has always been something very important to me at Walt Disney World. So much so that I've made it a point to learn absolutely anything I can about getting dining reservations at Walt Disney World. And I found a lot of tricks and tips along the way that can help me get hard to get dining reservations. So definitely have an alert set up already for the 1900 Park Fair we're just about to talk about, which is reopening February,
April 10th.
which is reopening April 10th. Excuse me. Yep, it's been closed since March 2020, and it's reopening April 10th. So yeah, definitely looking forward to getting a reservation for 1900 Park Fair and trying this one out.
Do we remember what day the reservation was? I know it's in March. Was it the 26th?
You mean when dining reservations become available?
Yeah,
Reservations open March 5th.
March 5th, correct.
Yes.
And we're going to try to get those reservations so that way we can sample the food again and get those lovely characters because that's what I'm known for, apparently.
Yep. And apparently 1900 Park Fair, I was not, I've snoozed apparently on this one, but apparently they've been really known over the years for some strawberry soup. Sounds interesting, sounds unique. Again, dining is right up my alley anywhere. So that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. Apparently in the meantime, you can go over to the Grand Floridian Cafe, which has been open for a couple of years now. It's actually a secret menu item there. I'm all about secret menu items too. We'll be looking into those in the future too. But yeah, at the Grand Floridian Cafe, you can get the strawberry soup right now as a secret menu item up until it gets back as a returning favorite on the 1900 Park Fair menu.
And I heard that they had some character announcements already.
Yeah.
Aladdin in his Prince Ali look, Tiana in her new adventure wear, Cinderella, and Maribel,
Mm-hmm.
just to name a few. And in the past, they've had, Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter. I believe Anastasia Drizella used to be there. I've never actually been to this character dining, and it's been one of my bucket lists to get on. So if we can get this will be amazing. And the reason I am excited for it is because I've watched all the videos on YouTube. I've seen everybody go to it, and I'm like, what would be greater than the Irish Mad Hatter meeting the actual Mad Hatter? I mean, that's the greatest thing ever. So it's like I'm hoping maybe that they'll be there because I know that I believe that dining is just like the one over in Disneyland. Um, and they got like maybe I think it was like I got 15 characters in one breakfast. So that was interesting. So if you're a character person and you have children, Park 1900 Park Fair is probably the best place to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of the pictures I've seen of this restaurant in the past have had the Alice in Wonderland and Mad Hatter. So, but they're definitely trying to refresh and bring in characters that this generation is more familiar with. The Tiana and Mirabelle, make room for those that the kids are wanting to see today.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, we do have a lot of character dinings, and this one was, uh, from what I've been told by many others, it was different because it was not set. So like every other character dining always is set, like the one over in Epcot, princesses only. Same one with over at Cinderella's Castle, all the princesses. Ohana's is Stitch, Lilo, Mickey Mouse, and Pluto. So they always had each dining one had a certain characters that were strictly there and nobody else. And they always at 19 Park Fair, it was always random. Every other day was a random character, so it wasn't always the same person. You could see Tigger and Pooh there. You can see, as I said, the Mad Hatter. You can see, I think Baloo was there one time. I mean, they do random characters, and this one was different from others. And I think that's why it was such a hard time for me even getting a reservation because of that reasoning.
Mm-hmm. No, I love it when they bring back some of the more obscure characters at different events or at different restaurants. Kind of change it up every now and again. So yeah, this is one of the very few restaurants on Disney property that I still have not experienced yet. So very much looking forward to it.
Well, I'm hoping we'll be able to experience it on March 5th. I don't know what time on the 5th that they're going to drop them. I don't know if it's at midnight. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yep. They didn't really say. They just said March 5th, the reservations will be available. So yeah, I've got an alert set up, and I hope to be able to get one snagged for us. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
We'll have all the news.
Well, I'm glad that we've finally relaunched this podcast, and I want to end with you, Greg, letting everyone know about future promos. So this is your time. Go ahead, Greg.
Excellent. All right. Well, we did a lot of talk today about Universal and Disney. So I've got a couple of great opportunities there that we'll talk about in the future. We'll also talk about a lot of cruising discounts, talk about a lot of both ocean cruising and river cruising. I'm very passionate about, and also European travel is very big that I love helping people out with.
Now, I got a question about the European travel. Are you guys at the PS Family Vacations? Are you guys able to book Paris and Hong Kong and Tokyo and all that?
As far as Disney, no, we're not. Don't have the same. They don't have the same travel agent relationships with the American travel agents. That's a great question. I'm not sure why, but we do not have the opportunity to sign up for Paris or Hong Kong, Shanghai, or Tokyo. Currently, just Disneyland and Walt Disney World. But that's a great question.
Okay.
But that's not to say, again, we do a lot of European vacations, and I have been to Paris, and I have been to Disneyland Paris. So I may not. I will. I'm still would be extremely excited to help anybody with their Disneyland Paris visit and help them book their tickets, help them understand how the ins and outs go over there. I would love to help anybody out with that vacation too. More than likely it'll probably involve more than just Disneyland Paris, and so I can definitely help out with that. Been to France, been to Germany, been to Switzerland, been to Italy, been to England. Think that's all of them so far, but and Greece. So yeah, if anybody is interested in Europe, I would love to help them out with that and incorporate a Disneyland Paris visit into that itinerary as well. But specifically for Universal promos available right now, probably the biggest one that they're offering is the ability to save 25% on a 3-park, 5-night vacation package, and that's for most days between now and July 31st. As always, except for late, early April, which is spring break. This is going to offer you a 3-park, 5-day park-to-park ticket, which is required the park-to-park ticket is required in order to experience the Hogwarts Express train to take the journey between Diagon Alley over to Hogwarts Castle. So that's important to anybody who's interested in Harry Potter. Make sure that you've got that park-to-park ticket in order to experience the train. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. So yeah, and remember, all Universal packages include the early park admission. You get 1 hour early admission to either one of the Harry Potter lands, which are, of course, the most popular. Always helpful to get on Hagrid's motorbike to get into the park an hour early, because that one can have extremely long waits. Same with sometimes Gringotts over at Diagon Alley. Staying on property also gives you that complimentary merch delivery back to your room. It also gives you the convenient resort charging privileges with your room key, so you don't have to carry every debit card, credit card. Just bring your room key to the parks, and if you lose it, you can easily turn that off. So you got both convenience and security there. And don't forget the premier resorts, which are the Hard Rock Hotel, the Portofino Bay Hotel, and the Royal Pacific Hotel. it's great to understand that those will all include the Universal Express Skip the Line access for all stays at those 3 hotels. That's also the unlimited Universal Express Skip the Line. They have 2 different kinds. One's the unlimited, which means you can ride anything you want as many times as you want. And then they've also got the Universal Express standard option, which allows you to access each attraction express line once. That's the great part about the Premier Resorts is it automatically includes that Universal Unlimited Express to every stay. So again, if you have any questions, and I can also help out with airport transportation, whether you want a private transfer from the airport or if you want to utilize Universal sponsored Superstar Shuttle. And I can also help you out with transportation back and forth from Universal over to Disney World for a day, if that's on your list of to-dos. So every customer, I always ask them, what are your priorities? What are your must-dos? And we will make that happen. Reach out anytime about Universal. And next over to Disney, the best promos they've got going on right now. They're offering 20% off most stays now through March 24th. And then after that, it actually goes up. It goes to 30% off stays March 25th through July 7th. So they're offering some great deals too over there. And keep in mind, those are eligible for everybody. But Disney often does have some great Florida resident and also annual pass and military discounts that are specific to those demographics. So be sure. I always mention that when I start talking with somebody, if any of those apply, because we're always looking to find the best ones possible for you and your family.
Well, that is great information that everyone should be able to utilize, and I hope they all do. So thank you on that one, Greg. So next week, we're going to deep dive into one of the 5 major lands announced for Epic Universe, starting with Celestial Park. We'll talk more about the upcoming Epic. Not Epic. We'll talk about the upcoming Flower and Garden Festival starting soon on February 28th. Many of the topiaries are already in. I did actually see that they did tear up some of the flowers already to lay down the new ones. So that was really nice to see.
Yep, that's absolutely right. The flower quilt is already out. A couple of days ago, they put it in, and it's starting to grow in and looking great already.
To get a preview before then of ours, we both live and are constantly exploring the Orlando theme parks. You'll want to follow us both on Facebook. You'll follow me at the Root of All Theme Parks, and you can follow Greg at PS Family Vacations by Greg. We're going to have so many things going out, so it's best if you follow us because you're going to get so much information that we will also be talking about on the podcast. And there's some things that we won't even be able to get on the podcast that you'll get from that Facebook group. You could also follow me on Instagram at the Root of All Theme Parks as well. I do post some stuff there as well.
Yeah, and I'm also on Instagram at the same PS Family Vacations by Greg. But primarily, most of my work is done on Facebook.
Most of my stuff is on TikTok, which is under also the same name, the Root of All Theme Parks. I have all my clips of everything from the theme parks on TikTok. So if you like watching clips, then definitely head on over there. You can also be able to follow me on YouTube there as well. Before we go, I want to remind you all the Root of All Theme Parks is brought to you by the PS Family Vacations, the dreamers of your next magical vacation. If you'd like to support our content here at the Root of All Theme Parks and either not sure where to start your own vacation planning just don't have the time, please consider benefiting from the experience and enthusiasm of any of the incredible PS Family Vacations travel agents. You'll never pay more than if you booked it yourself. So get your theme park, cruise, an all-inclusive resort, or the European adventure started today at psfamilyvacations.com. That will do it for today. We'd first like to express our gratitude for tuning in. Also, please share your thoughts on today's content, and we'll always appreciate suggestions on future topics you'd like us to explore together here on the Root of All Theme Parks podcast. With that, we're excited to have you join us next week for our lively discussion on the the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. Until then, take care and see you soon. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Matt.